happy day. And I'm always going to say happy day because I have no clue what day this is ever going to be posted. But I hope you and yours are having an amazing day. Welcome to Live a Lit with Amy and my boy Blue. If this is your first time with us, welcome. And we hope that you stay with us. This channel is all about my love, my life, my adventures after a major life change and adjustment unexpectedly. After my mom passed, my life was turned upside down, and needless to say, it has changed. It's night and day in comparison to what it used to be a mere 4 years ago. And I want to take you on this adventure. I fortunately, over the years with my travels, being a single mom, traveling a lot with my child who was an elite athlete, along with just traveling back and forth out of state to my small town back at home, I have had so many people, women mostly, say to me, holy smoke, I can't believe that you do this, that, and the other by yourself. How? Why? What? And just the curiosity of it. And I know not everybody can jump out here on the road the way that I do and the way that I have. And I know that it is a great curiosity for many. And so I really just want to share that. One, I want to share the continual update regarding my adoption and my adoption story, and finding my biological family and family members and siblings and getting connected with them. And I also want to share what it's like to be a single empty nester and what that's like hitting the road. But most importantly, really talking about our adventures and what Blue and I are going to be up to. Funny enough, I don't know if it's funny, but I am a big believer that everything happens for a reason. God puts and brings everybody, everything in our space, in our place, in our time for a reason. And we may never know why. We just need to be able to roll with it, right? And welcome it, enjoy it, and live it. And coming up on 4 years ago on Mother's Day, the unthinkable happened. My mom died. Yeah, let that sink in. I think every time I say that, it's a gut punch and it's a, Andy, we're going to have a conversation about that. But I also feel like it was meant to happen on that day because it's such an impactful and powerful relationship that just kind of bitch slapped me into reality. And then from there, various things happened. And one of the things in planning to do this channel that I am going to do is talk exactly about that and how it happened, like how things came down the day with my mom, and then how this has just kind of catapulted me into this new world of, I left my job. I've not worked in 2 years, coming up on 2 years. And talk about how I'm doing that, because not in great detail, because it's just, people are curious. So I'm going to share a little bit about how I've been able to do it, in hopes that, you know, if others are interested in doing and getting retired and being a snowbird earlier than expected, bring it on. Because it's doable. It's way doable. I'm going to talk about what it's like being an empty nester, you know, going from a busy house and running around to now I'm on my own. Like, yeah, I got a man, had a man for a long time, but he's busy building his business right now, and we see each other as often as we can, and there's all kinds of love there. But right now, I just have the opportunity to do this. So I'm going to do this, and I'm doing some crazy things. And, you know what? A little bit of it's going to be, you know, my traveling back and forth as a snowbird. I split my time between Florida and Iowa. A couple of years ago, I bought a tiny house. So it's a tiny house journey on top of that, living in a resort down here in Florida, which I absolutely, unequivocally love. I love it. It's really been a great experience. It's my second winter in Florida. And this summer, I'm going to go back to Iowa, and it'll be my third summer in Iowa, spending time with my family. But what I'm going to do is a little different this year. Got some things up my sleeve. So last summer, I went ahead and took an adventure and decided, you know what? I really need to clear my head. And I escaped. So while I was in Iowa for 2 whole months, I then made the decision to go and visit my biological sister and spend some time with my sweet Tia. And we had a great time. And I'll talk about that. And my brother-in-law and my nephew, my newfound family. It's pretty cool and exciting. But in doing that, I wanted to unplug. I feel like it's very important for us all to unplug. And I will be honest, being in corporate America for years, unplug was not a part of my vocabulary. And I say that very poignantly because me unplugging now has changed everything. And I wish I could have figured out a way to get the balance earlier. And if I go back to corporate America, or I go back to work, I know I will have the balance for sure now. But we're whole hog on this balance, full-time balance. And really, recognizing and seeing how much stress life can put on us and what that does to our bodies. And I really was in the struggle for years and not really realizing it at all, because it was just keep going, keep it up, building my career, focus on, expanding my career and just being promoted, getting that experience. And in the meantime, I lost a lot of me, and I lost a lot of life in a way, because I don't say no very easily, and want to be an overachiever and just throw it all my effort into what I'm doing. And so it took a lot out of me, and it was very stressful. And what happened in the end, when it came down to my leaving my last opportunity, there were a couple of situations that happened during that and before I left that straight up made me go, we're good, we're done, you're done, we're done, I'm done, I don't want to do this shit anymore. And I apologize, the lighting is really jacked up right now because I'm driving, so I apologize. So hopefully you can see me. It's really not necessarily about seeing me, but just the content. But I digress. So the stress, the corporate, the overachieving, the life that I knew, or kind of how I functioned of, you know what, you've got to be independent. You got to manage your own. You're taking care of yourself. You're taking care of your baby. That was my 125% focus. And along with that, of course, is making sure Logan was good and making sure she's balanced and being a typical mom and focusing on everything and everyone but myself. And so when this all came crashing down, there was a couple of things that happened that were very clear signs and red flags that this was not the place for me. And I really, as I think as we all get older, we start to think about, what? Our final jobs. If we're not in our job right now when we know we're going to retire, you're kind of thinking about, what's this last job, this last company? That's where I'm going to go out with a bang, I guess. And that was really in my head. And my last couple of companies, I honestly thought were the ones. And they weren't. And they weren't good fits. They weren't good matches. Great companies. It just wasn't for me. And that is A-okay. And honestly, what happened when I had that opportunity to walk away and step away from my last opportunity and my last company, it was a wake-up call that I had to deal with me. The work needed to be put in on me. And so literally, I did not do what I typically do when I leave a job, or I know I was leaving a job, or I wanted to look for a new job, or my role was eliminated, or whatever the case may be, I, like many, literally would just jump right back into it. Go. Get your resume up to date, contact all your people, all the people that you know. Go ahead and get things rolling so that you can get this next great opportunity. And I didn't do it. I straight up was like, I'm not working. What do I do with myself? And honestly, I've always been majorly as I said before, someone that sees everything and believes everything happens for a reason. And when that happened, it was a bit stunning. It was a bit like, ugh, I'm not working. What am I going to do? But then God told me, you've worked a lot. You've worked hard. And you've done great. And you need a break. And more importantly, you need to love yourself. And coming out of being a full-time single mom, balancing it all, doing it all, to pause right around COVID, and then, we had graduation and off to college, but then back to college, and then the passing of my mom. Everything was so chaotic. It just felt like a tornado. And then when I got back from my mom's celebration of life in July following her passing, it was like I was stuck in a time warp. It was weird. I had a couple of projects that I was working on in companies that I worked with. I left my company shortly after that, went to a new company, and then was with them for a year, and then went to this last company that I was with. And literally, I look back at that time, and it is just, I want to say it's like a blur, but it's really not. It's just like, uneventful, didn't really happen, have no real great thoughts, memories about it. And I'll be honest, in my healing, I recognized that I straight up was just in a fog. I was just on autopilot. Best way to say it. Straight up autopilot. I was just kind of going about my day. And I truly was forced to now look at my life without all the extras, without Logan, without keeping myself busy because of her, because of soccer, because of jobs, or because of this, or because of that. I had nothing going on. Nothing. And now I had to sit in some serious grief, some serious pain, loss, agony, everything that you can think of. So for that first, as it happened in end of March, April, May, so for the first 6 weeks, I literally slept a lot, and I did what I could do to feed myself. And I'd sleep, and I'd walk. Blue and I walked a lot. We spent a lot of time at the dog park, and just a lot of time trying to be introspective, I guess. And following that, things started and had to happen, right? Logan was still in Charlotte. We needed to get her out of Charlotte, or get her into her own place in Charlotte so I could close out in Charlotte. So I've done that. Check. Move Logan up north. We figured that out. Check. And since then, I have figured out a bit of a routine in the snowbird world of being up north and then being down here. I've gone to see some extended family this past summer, as I mentioned earlier. And during that time and during that trip, I really realized that, you know what? It's traveling. It's the travel that really just feeds my soul. And even though all these years we were just kind of traveling back and forth in here and there with soccer to different small towns and some big towns and whatnot, that movement and that energy and that vibration and being out, but also just being out and appreciating the space, whether it's the ocean, whether it's a scenic mountain and, you know, whatnot, or animals, that just soothes my soul and heals my soul. And I really recognized this last April when I had gone camping and really just sat outside by the fire in that peace and focused on nothing and trying to just settle my soul. And what I'm doing next is gonna help that, feed that soul a little bit more. I had a travel trailer, as many of you know, that I lived in over the past 2 summers in Iowa. I loved my camper. I loved my camping spot. It's the best camp spot site ever. And I want to return to it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. It's my hope that I can this summer. I'm not 100. I'm working on identifying a new rig. Yep. I know. This rig is not something I was looking for. I just saw it and I just stumbled upon it. And the price is right, and the size is right, the weight is right, everything is right for right now. And I will be honest, to those of you who've reached out to me and said, give me more, show me travel, I want to see how you do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't travel outside of my hometown, or I have a hard time thinking about leaving on a big trip by myself, like to go camping by yourself. Like many have heard me say, I really did want to go tent camping, but if I go tent camping by myself, I need a dog. I need a protection. That man, this boy, he's not our Beckham or our Marley. He's not crazy. He's not going to go. He hasn't shown us that he is a guard dog. So, but he is. I mean, he'll step up, but not the way that I want to sleep in a tent. So a rig is of importance. And what I've decided is, in my first leg of big travels this summer and kicking this off, instead of just going willy-nilly like I really want to and just get out there like I've watched and seen and studied, which is doing dispersed camping and boondocking, mostly out west, but there's a lot of places all over the US. But before I can get to that point and that comfort and that security, and I feel whole in my soul doing it, I'm gonna do state parks, maybe some other campgrounds. There might be some dispersed camping spots in here, because I did do some dispersed camping in my truck this past summer. So this past summer, I had my truck made over so I can camp out of this. And I traveled out west, and I spent about a week plus in South Dakota and in Wyoming and in Colorado before I got to my sister. And Blue and I camped out of my truck. And I love this setup. It worked out perfect. But we need more, because if it's a rain day, it's a cold day, and we can't be out and about, or we can't be out at the campsite, we can't be in this bad boy. This is not enough room for that. So I have been trying to figure out if it's going to be a van, because I have some amazing neighbors down here that have these amazing camper vans, and that is how they travel from here to home in the summers, and then they can go in between and do their little trips. But I'm on the fence about being forced to have my home, my rig, and my vehicle all in one. So you guys are going to be really excited. I'm going to go see this weekend, and it is my genuine hope, love, prayer that it is mine. I feel like it's mine. I'm seeing it. I'm visualizing it. It is partially done. There's some things that I'm going to be able to do myself, which tickles me pink. So that's going through my head. I've got my my dream book, in which I need to talk a little bit about that with everybody. You know, I have manifested some amazing things. That tiny house, my camper, this situation, and a number of other things very quickly over the last 3-4 years. And it's all because of my journal drawing book, I like to believe, and seeing that and mentally seeing it and drawing it out and visualizing and whatnot. And so I've got all kinds of stuff going on with that right now. So I want to wrap this bad boy up because I don't want these to go longer than 20-25 minutes. I think that's just going to be very, very, very important and imperative. And I think it's also going to be very important and imperative to be as informative as I can about things. So I'm going to leave this video here. We're going to wrap this sucker up. I need to go in and make one last errand before I head off back home and head to the pool, because it's 77 degrees here in Florida today. We've had some rain. It's been a little disgusting and gross, and I am elated to be heading to the pool to have a little cocktail with my girl today. So please subscribe, please follow, please like, please get the alerts. I'm so excited about this journey right now. I'm so excited to be able to share. Many of you have reached out and said, hey, this is what I'm looking for. I'm so elated that you've been doing this, and you know, where in the heck have you been? Can you share some more? All that fun stuff. If there's anything that you want me to cover, talk about, you're just curious, let me know. I'm an open book, and Blue and I are just gonna have fun doing this. So thank you for following us. We love you, and we look forward to seeing you very soon. Bye, y'all.